Hello everybody, எப்படி இருக்கிய? Today another class 11, okay? Class on eco, class 11, topic, eco topic நம்ம எடுக்க போறோம் இன்னைக்கு. And we are going to start from where we stopped in the last class. Methods of collecting primary data was our topic. நம்ம ரெண்டு method போன வீடியோல பார்த்தோம். இந்த வீடியோல we are going to cover the rest of the methods of collecting primary data. Okay, so how many of y'all are already there waiting to learn? Okay, as you all join, show some excitement. Okay, and so we will cover the rest of methods of collecting primary data as well. Okay, let's get started. I hope you all are doing well, and we'll get started for the class. Okay, இது நம்ம கவர் பண்ணோம் போன கிளாஸ்ல டைரக்ட் பர்சனல் இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன் or indirect oral investigation and the difference between them also we had covered in the last class. So we are going to start with information from correspondence. Okay, hi Yaksha, hi. Okay, so whoever has joined, show some excitement. Yes, and be interactive. Okay, na questions கேட்கமுச்சுல கொஞ்சம் ஆன்சர்ஸும் கொடுத்துருங்க. Okay, even if it's wrong. So basically நம்ம டைரக்ட் பர்சனல் இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷனோ இன்டைரக்ட் ஓரல் இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன்ல என்ன பார்த்தோம் தெரியுமா? டைரக்ட் பர்சனல் இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன்ல இன்வெஸ்டிகேட்டர் யாரு இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கலெக்ட் பண்ணுமோ அவங்க டைரக்ட்லி யார்கிட்ட இருந்து இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எடுக்கணுமோ அவங்ககிட்டயே இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கேட்கறாரு. தட் இஸ் டைரக்ட் பர்சனல். இன்டைரக்ட் ஓரல்ல நம்ம பார்த்தோம் அது the investigator who wants the information will not directly ask the person involved. இந்த இன்ஃபார்மெண்ட்டை கேட்காம ஒரு தேர்ட் பார்ட்டி த்ரூ அந்த இன்ஃபார்மெண்ட்டுக்குள்ள இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கேட்பாரு. ஓகே, ஸோ தட் இஸ் வாட் வி கவர்ட் இன் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டூ மெத்தட்ஸ். இந்த மெத்தட்ல இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் ஃப்ரம் கரஸ்பாண்டன்ஸ். To know about this method, we need to understand who is a correspondent first of all. Okay, so direct personal investigation la நம்ம சில demerits பார்த்தோம். அது எல்லா when the scope of study is small. Okay, நீ கம்மி பேர்ட்ட இருந்து இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எடுக்கமுச்சுல இட்ஸ் ஓகே தட் நீனே போய் டைரக்ட்லி இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எடுக்கலாம். ஆனா when your scope of investigation மீன்ஸ் நீ டேட்டா கலெக்ட் பண்ற ஏரியாவே வைடா இருக்குன்னா இன்வெஸ்டிகேட்டர் கான் பர்சனலி கோ அண்ட் கலெக்ட் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எவ்ரி டைம். மேபி நான் மும்பைல இருக்கிறேன், எனக்கு அஸ்ஸாம்ல இருந்து இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் வேணும்னா இட்ஸ் இம்பாசிபிள் ஃபார் மீ டு ஆல்வேஸ் கோ. ஓகே, ஸோ வாட் ஐ டூ இஸ் I will appoint a person called as correspondence. Okay, and wherever I want information in the correspondent எனக்கு information collect பண்ணி கொடுத்துருவாரு on my behalf. Okay, so usually these correspondents are local people. Okay, maybe அந்த இடம் பக்கத்துலயே இருக்கிறவங்க, so அவங்களுக்கு it won't be such a big task to go and collect. And in many cases நம்ம newspapers, television, in the இத பத்தி information, news பத்தி information collect பண்ணமுச்சுல somebody will give you information, maybe an agency or a reporter will be giving information from that locality is also considered to be a correspondent. So it is another person, not the investigator himself, but அவங்க because investigator எல்லா இடமும் போய் information collect பண்ண முடியாததுனால correspondents appoint பண்றாங்க. Okay, so they are basically local agents. Okay, they will be situated nearby the location of the informant and appointed and trained to collect information. So they will be trained in such a way that அவங்களுக்கு என்ன information investigatorக்கு தேவை அதை கரெக்டா communicate பண்ணிட்டு அவங்க accordingly they'll pass on the questions and collect the information from the respondent. So these respondents are the people who we want the information from. Okay, so they collect by using their own ways or methods and send them to investigator. Okay, நான் communicate பண்ணமுச்சுல நான் சொல்லுவேன், means I want information about yearly income of farmers. எனக்கு ஃபார்மர்ஸ் பத்தி இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் தேவைன்னுட்டு நான் ஒரு கரஸ்பாண்டன்ட்ட சொல்றேன். ஸோ அவங்க அந்த டீட்டெயில்ஸை வச்சு அவங்க மெத்தட்ஸ், ஓகே, they might be local people who might know the people, right? They might use a certain tactics of their own and collect information for me. Information is used when information needs to be collected in regular intervals. Okay, usually நான் correspondence எதுக்கு appoint பண்றேன், because எனக்கு regularly information தேவை. As an investigator, I can't leave my locality all the time and go and collect information. So எனக்கு maybe regular interval if I need monthly information or weekly information, so what I'll do, நான் correspondence க்கு contact பண்ணி அவங்கட்ட இருந்து information எடுப்பேன். It's mostly used by newspapers and periodical agencies who want to collect information about politics, business, stock market, adha patti, which is like usually fluctuating messages. Ungalku usually, you know, new updates thiyava padla idhe mari information la. So that time you want to take it continuously from somewhere, na nee oru correspondent appoint பண்ணுவேன். So this is about information from correspondence. Okay, good evening Vishwant, Shri Vidya, hi. Okay, is it clear? Is information from correspondence clear? So correspondent is like a local person who will give you information on behalf, means you can't be there all the time. நீ வேற லொகாலிட்டிஸ்க்கு எப்பவுமே போய் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கலெக்ட் பண்ண முடியாது. அதனால நீ ஒரு ஆளை அப்பாயிண்ட் பண்ற wherever you want the information from. So let's move ahead. எல்லா மெத்தடுக்கும் நம்ம suitability, merits, demerits பார்க்கிறோம். Okay, so suitability of this method, எந்த கேஸ்ல இந்த மெத்தடை யூஸ் பண்ணலாம்? First is when regular and continuous information is required. So அப்போ நீ இந்த மெத்தடை தான் யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும். நீ direct personal investigation யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. As an investigator, when you want always in regular interval continuous information, you can't be there in that locality always. Okay, maybe உனக்கு different placesல இருந்தோ information தேவை. So it's not possible, it's not practical. So அப்போ நீ ஒரு correspondent தான் appoint பண்ணுவ wherever you need the information from. When area of investigation is very large, again நம்ம direct personal investigation la பார்த்தோம், அது scope is very small, right? Because நீ directly information கேட்க முடியல, நீ கம்மி ஏரியால தான் கேட்க முடியும். But when the scope of investigation is wide, உனக்கு நிறைய இடம், maybe across the country you want to know the production of crops, so you will appoint somebody in each locality. So when investigation is very large, high degree of accuracy is not required. Okay, why not required? Because maybe நீ estimates லையோ ஓகேயா இருக்கலாம். Because if you want an accurate information, நீ தான் போய் collect பண்ணணும், or you will send an enumerator. We will study about enumerator in the next one. So basically, investigators and enumerators are people who are skilled and know how to collect information, but correspondents may not know because they are local people, local agents. Avangalka avlo, they might not be tactful in collecting information, but if you are okay with not so accurate data, if you are okay with estimates, then you can go ahead with this type of method. But you want 100% accurate, nee correct ana precise information da unakku thevana, don't go ahead with information from correspondence. Okay, so merits paakro. First thing we discussed here, large. When area investigation is large, wide coverage, unakku nariya area collect pannona, obviously correspondence is a merit. Economical, like I said, these people are local agents. Okay, avanga locality la irundha information collect panna, so it is economical na, basically less money spend pandriya. It's economical as compared to direct personal investigation or as compared to, you know, appointing an enumerator. Okay, because investigator or enumerator are skilled people, avangalku payment povom, salary povom. But correspondence ka maybe you will give them certain incentive, but it is not that much compared to the other methods. So adanala you will spend lesser money. Suitable for special purposes. So chela purposes, like you want regular information. Okay, unaku changes in the market condition paakano, illati you want to know the changes in income of a particular group, in monthly income, or you want to know the changes in like crop fluctuation nadakudhu. Adhe madri unaku specific purpose kaga continuous information theva padduna, you have to use correspondence. And again, like I said, continuity. Regularly you want updates about something, then you have to use correspondence only, because directly investigator or enumerator can't be present and give you information continuously. So these are the merits which are covered under correspondence. Obviously demerits irukkudu, like I said, not so accurate. Adnala you may lack originality. Okay, basically this information may not be so accurate. So lack of accuracy irukadnala unaku collect pandra information can be original, can't be original. Again, it depends on the correspondence. If correspondent nalla trained ana correspondent irunda, maybe our information chariya edukalam. But if the correspondent is not so trained and lacks skills, then there will be less degree of accuracy and lack of originality. You can expect original data when you are collecting, you as an investigator, serious investigator are collecting the information. Okay, when you give it to a third party or a correspondence, the originality also comes down, the accuracy also comes down. Lack of uniformity, uniform na same. Because there are so many correspondents. நீ ஒரு correspondent வைக்கல எல்லா இடத்துலயும் information எடுக்க. There are so many correspondents. எல்லா correspondent கொள்ள way நம்ம பார்த்தோம்ல, method of collecting investigation is different. So நீ data சரியாத எல்லாத்துக்கும் அதே மாதிரி uniformityல வரோனா it's doubtful. If you are an investigator and you're collecting information from the respondents, you can expect uniformity in data. But over a correspondent kolla way of answering, way of taking up the investigation is different. Adnala uniformity is fluctuating. It will not be the same. Danger of partiality. Correspondent can be biased. Right. The correspondent can, because they are local people, maybe they know the environment and everything, avungalukku personal judgments ayum vachikalam, and that is how they may collect the information. So you as an investigator nee peravu precaution edukono. Maybe partiality irukala, so you will have to keep your thinking skills open when you get information from correspondent. Nee further other scan or filter pannadan cheyyano, because there can be personal bias of the correspondent. And this we covered in lack of accuracy and originality. Time consuming. Idu or time consuming method da, because you have to collect information from many places. You have to give the information to correspondent. Correspondent pay information edupara respondent and the adukapra avaru has to give you. So there is so much processes that go on. Nee directly collect panamchila, you can collect it quickly. But when it's going through so many parties and then coming to you, it is a time consuming method. Okay, again, because even the scope of your study is only wide. Okay, so these are the suitability merits and demerits. I hope this is clear. Idle edavadhu doubts irundha you can ask me right now. Okay, then we'll move ahead. Precautions. Precautions na chonnad madri, precautions are taken when you are not the person who is collecting the information. Nee chela, you have to be careful, okay, with the data that is coming from correspondent. Avangalkulla data va nee blindly use panna mudiyadhu. You have to take certain steps before using the data, because you personally have not collected it. Again, because they said it's not original, it's not accurate, it may be biased, right? Because it's coming from correspondent. So அந்த data வரம்chila நீ கொஞ்சம் check பண்ணிட்டு தான் அந்த dataவை use பண்ணா as an investigator. Okay, so first precaution is correspondent should not be prejudiced. Okay, first step நீ எடுக்கணும், you have to ensure that the correspondent is a person who is of neutral judgment. Nee appoint panamchile, obviously you should have an interaction and know that this correspondent will be person of a balanced mindset. அவங்களுக்கு அந்த ரெஸ்பாண்டன்ட்க்கு or the studyக்கு நோக்கி ஏதாவது judgments இல்ல நீட்டு, you have to ensure that first step when you're appointing the correspondent. Second, the number of respondents should be fairly large and reasonable. You have to again ensure. See, எதுக்கு நம்ம respondent எப்பவுமே studyல large-ஆ வைக்கிறோம்? One thing is, ipo when we were studying, you know, limitations of or demerits of statistics la paathom, 4 பேரு out of 5 children ஒரு chocolate நல்லா இருக்குன்னா you can't present a study that 80% like the chocolate because நீ 5 பேர்த்து தான் கேட்டிருக்க. How it will be a proper study? நீ ஒரு you will have to ask many people, like ஒரு thousandsல lakhsல you have to take the data. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் you can filter out and say that இவ்ளோ பேரு are saying a particular information, right? So basically you have to ensure that நீ யார்கிட்ட இருந்தெல்லாம் response எடுக்கிற அவங்க you know they are larger audience. Otherwise it's not going to be accurate data, it's not going to be proper. Okay, கம்மி பேர்ட்ட எடுக்கமிச்சுல அதை நீ ஒரு கன்க்ளூஷனா draw பண்றது it's wrong. So that you have to ensure that the correspondence is taking response from many people. Okay, then we move to correspondents or investigators should make minimum use of their own opinion. So this comes in this. நீ என்ஷூர் பண்ணோம் கி அவங்க டேட்டா உனக்கு ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணமுச்சுல அவங்க ஒப்பீனியன்ஸ் இல்லாட்டி அவங்க இன்டர்பிரிட்டேஷனை போட்டு உனக்கு கொடுக்க கூடாது. Minimum they are using their own opinions. You then will have to filter out the data and put your own interpretation because avanga opinions podamchula it can be prejudiced. Correspondents should be educated and familiar with the problem. You have to ensure that these correspondents are trained first of all. நீ என்ன டேட்டா அவங்ககிட்ட இருந்து வாங்க நினைக்கிற அவங்களுக்கு அதை பத்தி தெரியுது, அவங்களுக்கு அதை பத்தி நாலேஜ் இருக்குது, பேசிக் நாலேஜ் அட்லீஸ்ட், and they have to be trained and educated in the field at least. Okay, avlo you have to ensure. Clear and precise instructions should be given. Okay, first only clear and precise instruction should be given to the correspondent regarding the study. எதை பத்தி நீ இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கேட்குற கரஸ்பாண்டண்ட்டா அவங்களுக்கு அந்த ஐடியா இருக்கணும், அவங்களுக்கு கரெக்டான இன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன்ஸ் கொடுத்தா அவங்களுக்கு தெரியும் என்ன எடுக்கணும்னுட்டு. இஃப் யூ டோன்ட் கம்யூனிகேட் த கைட்லைன்ஸ் ப்ராப்பர்லி டு த கரஸ்பாண்டன்ட் they will be confused and they won't be able to give you the correct response. So that is about நீ சில ஸ்டெப்ஸ் எடுக்கணும் before and giving the duty to the correspondence as an investigator, as the person who is wanting the information. Okay, so is this much clear with you all? Okay, so I'll move ahead. Next one is telephonic interview. Okay, second method is telephonic interview. அப்படினா நம்ம இது actually fourth method, correspondence was the third method. Telephonic interview means you are actually communicating to a person through telephone. Okay, you are the investigator. Basically investigator is the person who takes the interview or takes the information. அவங்க தான் ஸ்டடியை கண்டக்ட் பண்றாங்க, டேட்டா கலெக்ட் பண்றாங்க. அவங்க ரெஸ்பாண்டன்ட் through telephone means you are calling a person and taking the information. That is telephonic interview. Direct personal investigation la enna nadukku face to face interaction, but in telephonic interview you are calling a person. Okay, சில நேரம் நம்மளும் கால் பண்ணுவோம்ல ஏதாவது இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் யார்கிட்டயாவது கேட்கமிச்சில. Okay, so give me this information. Always you can't have access to go personally and take information. So that point of time telephone la you place a call and you ask the information. So data collected through telephone is called as a telephonic interview. Okay, so it's better when respondents are reluctant to answer certain questions. சில கேஸ்ல respondent face to face interview கொடுக்க விரும்ப மாட்டாங்க. Okay, அவங்களுக்கு maybe they don't want to give certain, they are not comfortable giving certain information face to face. அந்த டைம்ல நீங்க டெலிஃபோன்ல you can ask certain, maybe அவங்க கொஞ்சம் தயங்குறாங்க to give information face to face. So at that point of time you can use telephonic interview. Many of the shows, okay, நிறைய டிவி ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ்ல போல்ஸ் கலெக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. போல்ஸ்னா ஒப்பீனியன்ஸ் கலெக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க பீப்புள்கிட்ட இருந்து. ஸோ தட் இஸ் மோஸ்ட்லி கலெக்டட் த்ரூ telephonic interview. Okay, you have to reach a lot of audience and you want to collect their opinions. Apona, the TV program or people who, you know, in news channels, they use telephonic interview. However, the response rate is lower and fewer questions may be asked because nee telephone la the respondents in telephonic interview, obviously the response rate will be lower, right? Because maybe சில பேர் காலே அட்டென்ட் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. அப்புறம் நீ எவ்வளோ கொஸ்டின்ஸ் தான் டெலிஃபோன்ல கேட்க முடியும் ஒரு ஆள்கிட்ட. தெர் ஆர் சான்சஸ் தட் they'll get tired and bored. நான் இவ்வளோ தான் ஆன்சர் பண்ண முடியும்ப்பா, ரைட்? ஸோ as compared to face interaction, telephonic interview is, that's why, restricted. Okay, move ahead. Same thing, suitability, merits and demerits of telephonic interview. Okay, suitability of this method is when respondent have a telephone. First of all, avangalukku the connection, call connection irukono. Okay, not like some may say that ippotha ellarku phones irukka, but not if you want to collect, not the case always, right? Unaku information collect panno tribals patti, rural areas patti, some of them may not have telephone communication even today. So under cases la telephonic interview is not possible because you first need to have a telephone. Second, when data is collected for shorter duration, unaku kammi questions katte you have to finish up your data appo the telephone. உனக்கு நிறைய இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் தேவைன்னா you have to obviously go face to face. Nobody is going to sit for 1 hour 2 hour and give you information on telephone. Friend பேசல நம்ம, we are collecting data. So at that point of time, you know, it's not useful. Wide coverage, merits are wide coverage. நீ பர்சனலி எந்த இடத்துக்கெல்லாம் போக முடியாதோ அந்த இடத்துல நீ டெலிஃபோனிக் இன்டர்வியூஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். ஸோ யூ நோ யூ கேன் கலெக்ட் டேட்டா ஃப்ரம் அ லாட் ஆஃப் பீப்புள். அதனால அது வைட் கவரேஜ். எக்கனாமிக்கல், அகேன் மணி கம்மி, பர்சனலா போக வேண்டாம். யூ டோன்ட் ஹாவ் டு அப்பாயிண்ட் கரஸ்பாண்டன்ட், என்யூமரேட்டர்ஸ், அவங்களுக்கு சேலரி கொடுக்க வேண்டாம். ஓகே, உனக்குள்ள டிராவல் எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ் ஆல்சோ கொஞ்சம் மிஞ்சும், right? Because you are using telephone, so it's most economical. Kammi money chelavu aakra. Clarify doubts. Certain times enna nadukona, maybe ni personal interview la eduthite ana maybe unakku chela doubts varudhu adla. When you are, you know, doing work on the data, you suddenly get doubt. At that point of time, you don't need to again go. You can use telephone at that point of time. Unakku chela doubts irkamchula, you can, you know, take the telephone and give a call to the respondent again to, you know, clarify the doubts. So that demerits, limited use. Again, telephone illade edathla you can't use it. Sometimes shorter duration kolla questions la dhaan use panna mudiyum. Just chela cases la da idukulla use irukum. Chela naro maybe some people are not willing to answer you to telephone, phone edukala. So at that particular case you can't use. So everywhere telephone interview is not possible. Visual feedback is not possible. So basically உனக்கு தெரியாது, உனக்கு some people can, you know, not give you accurate information, lie பண்ணலாம். You can't see people on face. People can give the right information and show their emotions on face, but when it comes to telephone, you can't, you know, interpret, you know, the emotion or what is the situation properly without a visual feedback, without face to face interaction. So in the case la it's not possible. Okay, fine. Then we move ahead. This is going to be a fifth method, mail questionnaire method. Basically first questionnaire na ennadu, it's a set of questions. Okay, இப்போ நீங்க சில பேர் நிறைய பேர் கூகுள் ஃபார்ம்லாம் இப்போ ஃபில் பண்றிய, you know, feedback form fill பண்றிய, you might have done that. Obviously நீங்களும் பண்ணிருப்பீங்க. Basically it's questionnaire because it's a set of questions. Mail questionnaire na நீ post பண்ற questionnaire. Nowadays you have online methods. Okay, so that also comes under this method da. உனக்கு you know, WhatsApp through questionnaires you fill Google form, or you know, you have emails la questionnaire anupuranga. So but before internet came into picture, questionnaire or paper physical copy ada mail post through post through mail பண்ணிட்டு they would send it to the respondent உட்கார்ந்து அந்த questionnaire answer பண்ணிட்டு they will answer all the questionnaire, then they will mail back the same questionnaire to the investigator. அப்படி நடந்து ஒரு காலத்துல. ஆனா இப்போ it's simplified, through Google Forms and all, people send it through WhatsApp or other channels, online channels, and people just respond and submit it. அது investigator க்கு response தெரிஞ்சிரும். So this is like mostly used when questionnaire in face-to-face interaction தேவையில்லை. Okay, you want to cover a lot of people, okay, and you want to ask a lot of set of questions which is easier for the respondent to answer. Okay, சில complicated questions la unakku extensive information கேட்கணும்னா அந்த டைம்ல you can't use this. Okay, so investigator makes questionnaire pertaining to the field of investigation, okay, and sends it to the respondent along with a covering letter to collect information. In the covering letter la எல்லா இன்ஃபர்மேஷனும் கொடுத்திருப்பாங்க investigator. எதுக்கு நீ answer பண்ற, what is the objective of it, so what all information respondent க்கு தேவை to fill the questionnaire, அத ஒரு covering letterல எழுதிட்டு along with the questionnaire the investigator will mail to all the respondent என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, அந்த கவரிங் லெட்டரை முதல் ரீட் பண்ணிட்டு என்ன இன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன்ஸ் கொடுத்திருக்க அதை பார்த்துட்டு questionnaire fill பண்ணிட்டு then in the same envelope, okay, that they will mail back to the investigator. So this is how mail questionnaire works. So when the field of investigation is very large, again நான் நிறைய பேர்ட்ட இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எடுக்கணும்னா this is the best way. We also see WhatsApp la ipolla and the Google form you can send to so many people all together, right? You can collect information across the world. Even now it's made even more easy. So field of investigation is large, that time this is the best method. When respondents are literate, but you have to ensure that அவங்களுக்கு எழுத படிக்க தெரியும், அப்போதான் நீ இந்த மெத்தட யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும். அல்லாட்டி you have to use telephones or you have to personally only go. So these two things you have to ensure. And they are likely to cooperate. First of all, அவங்க cooperate பண்றாங்களா பாரு, இல்லாட்டி சும்மா நீ அனுப்பிட்டு அவங்க ரெஸ்பான்ஸே பண்ணாம இருக்கலாம். So that is also thing that you have to take into consideration. Merits, again, wide coverage. Most economical. ஒரு Google form நம்மளே இப்போ பண்றது, it's very easy, right? And even for mailing the question, you have to print it out, and obviously postal charges will be there, but it's still economical than directly going and taking information. Adla you will spend a lot, so it is lesser money. Originality, you're directly taking, investigator is directly taking from respondent, so you can ensure originality in the case la. When it comes to correspondence, originality konjo will weaken. Okay, whenever data is directly collected from investigator to respondent, appo originality can be maintained the highest. Whenever a correspondent or a witness, nama indirect oral investigation la pathom, whenever a third party comes into, originality will be diluted. Okay, so that you can keep in mind. Investigator to respondent, whenever information is collected, it's maintained, originality is maintained. Free from bias, idla bias kammiya irkalam, because namakku avanga they don't see us and they might be comfortable in giving the information when there is not a person sitting on their near them, and you also are not listening to them. We form bias mostly when we see people and we see their expressions and their way of talking, and then we form opinion. But bias is less when things are not, when a person is not there on your in front of you. Okay, bias na unkula opinions nee form pandrathu mostly nee form pandrathu when somebody is present. Biasness is less when things are coming in written format, it's coming from across the world. Okay, certain cases la questionnaire la even there is an option ninga pyar eludama questionnaire amchala okay da. Mostly நீங்க பார்த்திருப்பீங்க இந்த ஃபார்ம்ஸ்ல எல்லாம் உங்களுக்குள்ள பியாரே கேட்டிருக்க மாட்டாங்க, because they just want response from respondent. So it's best உனக்கு bias இல்ல, நீ personal judgment, you are not judging a person. Okay, maintain secrecy. Again, யாரு சில கேசஸ்ல நீங்க எழுத தேவையில்லை, right? So you are, you know, it's up to you. Most of the cases la maybe name kolla column kuduthirukka maatanga, so it's free, you can maintain your secrecy. If you want to give certain personal information, manakulla income patti kudukono, maybe you have an opinion on certain controversial topics, adani free ah kudukala when there is no face to face interaction. So maintain secrecy. Okay, your secret is intact. So these are the merits, and this, you know, you should mention in the covering letter also that ungalkolla information is going to be kept confidential. Means we are not going to put your name and say that, you know, you're the person who is given the information. So idani covering letter la you mention panamchila, and the respondent will be free and they'll comfortably give the information. So that's about merits. And then we go to demerits. Limited scope. Again, literate ஆட்கள்கிட்ட தான் நீ information collect பண்ண முடியும். Illiterate ஆட்கள்கிட்ட there is no possibility of, you know, doing the questionnaire method. So your scope becomes limited at that point of time. And people who are cooperating, there are high chances நிறைய பேர் will not respond to your questionnaire நீ send பண்ணாலோ. So then the scope becomes limited in such cases. Less accuracy and precision. என்னன்னா சில பேருக்கு, and this also comes together, and the questionnaire புரியாம போகலாம். That's a downside. When you're directly நீ எடுக்கிற இன்டர்வியூனா மேபி அந்த ரெஸ்பாண்டன்ட்க்கு இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் புரியல, கொஸ்டின் புரியலன்னா நீ அவங்கள அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ண வைக்கலாம். அல்லாட்டி ஒரு கொஸ்டினை அந்த ரெஸ்பாண்டன்ட் வேற விதத்துல புரிஞ்சிட்டாலோ நீ அவங்ககிட்ட சொல்ல இல்ல இந்த இதுல இப்படி. But in case of questionnaire, you are not going to be present to clarify doubts, right? அப்போ அந்த ஆளுக்கு என்ன புரிஞ்சிருக்கோ அதை தான் கொடுப்பாங்க. Plus they can even lie. Okay, எனக்கு ஏன் இன்கம் இவ்ளோ நீட்டு எனக்கு சொல்ல வேண்டாம். So they'll put other misinformation. They don't have to, you know, they will not give you the correct information because there's nobody to cross question. So that's why it's less accurate, less precision, and நீ கொஸ்டினை மிஸ்இன்டர்பிரேட் பண்ணலாம். மேபி சம்திங் இஸ் ஆக்ஸ், நீ வேற ஏதாவது புரிஞ்சிட்டு வேற இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கொடுக்கலாம். So these are the demerits. Lack of interest, like I said, சில பேர் கூட நம்மளும் கூகுள் ஃபார்ம்ல கொஸ்டினே ரீட் பண்ண முடியாது. agree. Nobody, very few people would actually put, you know, interest and read properly and answer properly. But in the questionnaire method la idan prachna, you don't know how much of your data is, you know, accurate or, you know, authentically avanga answer pandranga, so you can take it. Okay, adnala lack of interest. Time consuming, again, நீ questionnaire prepare பண்ணணும், நீ மெயில் பண்ணணும், நீ வெயிட் பண்ணணும். எல்லா ரெஸ்பாண்டன்ட்டும் எப்போ பதில் சொல்லுவாங்க நீட்டு. மெயிலிங்ல that's the problem. At least Google formula, whoever responds, you get the response very easily. But still, some people take their own time to, you know, give the response. So all those things become the demerits. Okay. Okay, some of you all have joined. Hi, Bhuvaneshwari. Hi, Vinaya and Joshua. Oh, Niyashri. Niyashni. Okay, hi. Okay, actually, I covered a few topics. I covered 3 more methods today. Information from correspondence, telephonic interview, and mail questionnaire method cover பண்ணிருக்கேன். 3 topics. Under that, suitability, merits and demerits are done for now. Okay. இப்போ this is the 6th method. Okay, there were 6 methods. This is the last method. Under this method, enumerator. Now, who is enumerator? Questionnaire na chollite. Questionnaires are set of questions filled by enumerator. So, enumerator is a person appointed by investigator. Again, when, you know, scope of study is large, investigator எல்லா இடமும் போய் informations எடுக்க முடியாது. So, what they do, they appoint a person, enumerator, and these people, enumerator, personally go and collect information. Okay, this actually overrides the method of questionnaire, mail questionnaire. because male questionnaire la enna idudana demerits, misinterpretation avala, less accurate avala, lack of interest avala respondent ku, adnala enakku correct information kedukuma, I don't know. But when it comes to enumerator, questionnaire by enumerator, that person will clarify every information for you. Adnala nee correct ana information kudukala. Plus mostly enumerators are people who know the local language. Okay, adnala nee locally அந்த மக்களுக்கு மேபி சில லாங்குவேஜ் இங்கிலீஷ் மீடியம் புரியாம இருக்கலாம், ஹிந்தி அப்படி காமன் மீடியம் புரியாம இருந்தாலும் அவங்களுக்கு லோக்கல் லாங்குவேஜ் தெரியும். So they can communicate, and this cancels the demerit of questionnaire method. Okay, மேல் questionnaire methodல என்ன நடந்து illiterate இருந்தா தான் நம்ம கொடுக்க முடியும். ஓகே, ஸ்கோப் லிமிட்டடா இருக்கு, லேக் ஆஃப் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட், இது எல்லாத்தையும் எப்படி கேன்சல் பண்ணிருது? A person called as enumerator will do the work. And enumerator and correspondence க்கு என்ன வித்தியாசம்னா, enumerator is a person who has knowledge about the investigation. He is educated and trained and he knows how to collect information. But whereas correspondence could be people who know about it, but they don't necessarily have to be educated people who know how to handle data. Okay, best example of enumerators are census. Okay, government is the investigator, census nadathuranga, but yaru collect pannuva data? Government staffs collect the data. So basically those people are enumerators. Avanga pay veedu veeda, they collect the information, and you will see that those all people are regional people. Adnala avangalkulla languages theriyum, avanga conditions lam puriyum. Okay, so that is questionnaires filled by enumerator. Under this method, the enumerator personally visits the informant. Informant yaru? The person who is giving this is also called as respondent. Okay, personally visit பண்ணுவாங்க along with the questionnaire, set of questions. இப்போதான் நம்ம பார்த்தோம், questionnaires are set of questions. Access the questions and note down their replies. Okay, questionnaire கேட்டுட்டு அந்த ரிப்ளையை அவங்க நோட் டவுன் பண்ணிட்டு in their own language. Questionnaire is filled by investigators called as a schedule. Okay, so basically questionnaire நம்ம respondent fill பண்ணாத அத questionnaire சொல்லுவோம். enumerator இல்லாட்டி investigator fill பண்ணா அது யாரு become schedule. Okay, so we call this schedule. If somebody else is filling on your behalf, it's called as a schedule, but neene informant fill panna, it's called as a questionnaire. Okay, adudha vityasam. But this I hope you all understood. Enumerator assists the informant. Okay, avanga help pandranga to understand the nature of questions and fills up the schedule himself. Again we said schedule is questionnaire filled by the informant or the enumerator. To avoid vague and ambiguous replies. Vague na chumma chala beru just for the sake of answering illa appadi answer pandra replies, and ambiguous na romba unclear replies kudukuradhu. Okay, clear, not a clear reply is ambiguous reply. So ida avoid pandradhukku da enumerator will fill. See, vague and ambiguous replies can happen when mail questionnaire la அப்போ கிளியரா இல்லாம சும்மா எனக்கு தோன்றத ஆன்சர் பண்ணலாம். பட் when enumerators coming, இப்போ யாராவது vague and ambiguous reply கொடுத்தாலோ he can cross question and ask, இல்ல இது இன்னும் டீடைல்டா கொடுக்க சொல்ல முடியுமா அப்படின்னுட்டு. ஓகே, in order to get reliable information, reliable na trustworthy, correct ana information, the enumerator should be, enumerator should be tactful, well trained, unbiased, hardworking and comfortable in local language. Whenever investigator is appointing an enumerator, he has to ensure these things are present in an enumerator. Our correct, he has that, tax tricks, how to take questions, well trained இருக்கணும், personal bias வச்சுக்க கூடாது, hard working and local languageல பேச comfortable இருக்கணுமா, இதெல்லாம் நீ பார்த்து தான் enumerator select பண்ணும். Enumerator should be specially trained to convince people to provide an accurate information. That's why it's different from correspondent. Okay, so that enumerators are trained people. Okay, so they know how to take information. Okay, this method is usually used by government, semi-government, big business houses, research institutes. So basically, bigger agencies will only use this method because enumerators are trained people, avங்களுக்கு salaries pay பண்ணணும். அதனால people who can afford that only actually hire enumerators. Okay. The basic difference between questionnaire, இதுதான் நான் சொன்னேன். Schedule on questionnaire kulla difference என்னது? Questionnaire is filled by respondent, okay, who I am taking information from, and schedule is filled by the investigator or the enumerator. Okay, இதுதான் difference. Hi Bharati. Okay, let's go to the next one. Suitability methods and demerits. Okay, இதுலயும் இருக்கு suitable when adequate finance and trained enumerators are available. So in the method kulla success completely depends on the enumerator. அதனால உனக்கு enumerator properly trained ஆ இருந்தாதான் இந்த method successful ஆகலாம். So they have to be, and you need money to appoint the enumerator. So in that case enumerator you can use. Covers wide area. நான் சொன்னது மாதிரி because investigator மட்டும் நீ வச்சா கம்மி ஏரியாவை தான் கவர் பண்ண முடியும். Enumerators will go across wherever you need. நீ அப்பாயிண்ட் பண்ற enumerator will give you information. So உனக்கு நிறைய ஏரியா like census, you have to cover the entire country. அப்போனா you will appoint enumerator. Some significance is attached to accuracy. See, we saw that in questionnaire there can be lack of accuracy and precision, right? So you want the study. So ipo by chance நீ நினைக்கிற, and even in correspondence lack of accuracy இருந்து உனக்கு estimatesல ஓகேஷா இருந்தா ஃபைனா, அப்போனா you go ahead with mail questionnaire. But no, you want 100% accurate information na, you have to go for this method, enumerator method. So here also we saw wide coverage, நிறைய area, accurate reliable information தேவைப்பட்டா, better response. Again we saw that enumerator vague or ambiguous response avoid பண்ணுவாரு. அவருக்கு ஏதாவது இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்ல respondent கரெக்டா இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கொடுக்கல, இல்லாட்டி இதுல டீடைல்டா கொடுக்கலனா he can cross question and ask more information. So better response கிடைக்கிறதுக்கு. Less chance of partiality. Again, enumerators are not people who there are so many people enumerators and they are not investigators. They are not completely involved in the investigation to form opinion. Investigators can have their own partiality more as compared to enumerators. But again, idadani paakano, enumerator partial இல்லாதவங்கள தான் நீ அப்பாயிண்ட் பண்ணணும். அதனால தான் less partiality when you appoint the best in enumerator. டிஸ்அட்வான்டேஜ்லயும் பார்ஷியாலிட்டி இருக்கு. இப்போ நீ enumerator கரெக்டா அப்பாயிண்ட் பண்ணலன்னா again there could be partialities. So ரெண்டுல வரும். You have to say meritsல if the enumerator is a person with unbiased opinion should be appointed, then there will be less chance of partiality. If there's an untrained enumerator, then demerit le varum. So both are human factor, adnala rendlayum varudhu partiality. There can be less partial if the enumerator is trained and doing his job properly. Partiality when they are untrained enumerators and who are not particularly doing their partiality. So it comes in both. Useful in case of illiterate response. This is best used when respondent is not literate or they don't understand a common medium of language. So best for appone enumerator adha appoint pannom. Costly method, like again I said, only government organization, big businesses can actually appoint enumerators because it is romba costly, avangalukku salaries pay pannum. So costly method. Time consuming, again whenever the scope of study is wide, there is more time consuming. Nee direct investigation panamchalo you can quickly expect response. But enumerators la you have to, the enumerator has to go information collect பண்ணனும், அதுக்கு அப்புறம் அவங்க investigators to கொடுக்கணும். and it's coming from a lot of areas. So adnala time consuming. Again, this too we covered. If the enumerator is trained and doing good at his job, he will avoid partiality. If the enumerator is untrained and in that cases partiality can be the case. So this you have to take a precaution when you're appointing the enumerator. அவங்க unbiased இருக்காங்களான்னுட்டு. Inability of the enumerator, again only because this type of data completely depends on the enumerator. Enumerator should be the person who is good at his job. If our is not good at his job, then this investigation will go in failure. So inability of the enumerator. Again, precautions, adnalda for correspondent kuda nama precautions paathom. Correspondent appoint பண்ணதுக்கு முன்னாடி நம்ம சில precautions எடுக்கணும் because we directly are not taking the interview. Same thing, enumerator appoint பண்ணதுக்கு முன்னாடியோ investigator has to take certain precautions. Okay, so they have to be trained and they need to know how to use their statistical tool. High integrity, they have to be truthful to their job. Okay, that's why they should avoid that personal bias எல்லாம். They should not be biased, partial. Okay, integrity. Polite, tactful and hardworking and honest to his assigned job. Again, they have to be good in their job. Timely evaluation of enumerator. நீ enumerator kola value check பண்ணனும். Enumerator நீ appoint பண்ண பரவ அவர் கொடுத்த information blindly you should not use in your investigation. You have to evaluate that work and check the enumerator's work also. Informant should be properly educated about the objective. Means நீ ensure பண்ணோ அது அந்த enumerator அவர் கரெக்டா இன்ஃபார்மெண்ட்க்கு என்ன தேவை நீட்டு கம்யூனிகேட் பண்றாரா. Let's say நான் ஒரு enumerator போய் ஒரு இன்ஃபார்மெண்ட் question கேட்கிறேன். சும்மா ஸ்ட்ரெயிட்டாவே question கேட்க கூடாதுல. நான் ஸ்டார்டிங்ல சொல்லணும் நான் எதுக்காக இந்த questions கேட்கிறேன், உங்க ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் எவ்வளோ இம்பார்ட்டண்டா இருக்கும் இந்த இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷனுக்கு. அப்படி I have to educate the informant before I shoot questions at them basically. Questions and schedule should be small in length and simple and clear. இதை நம்ம actually படிப்போம். In the next class we will do that. Next partல how well you can make a questionnaire. Okay, what are the guidelines to fill the questionnaire? So questions should always be simple and easy to understand and should not be too lengthy, basically that. And this we will cover on how to make a questionnaire in the next class. Okay, so basically today we completed 4 methods of primary data. First we started with information from correspondent. Correspondence now you appoint certain people like local agents who will give you every regular information about a topic. So the topic should be in such a case that உனக்கு regular information தேவை, அதனால நீ correspondent appoint பண்ற and various localities la appoint பண்ற. Then we did telephonic interviews. Call வச்சி நீ investigator respondent இருந்து information கேட்கிற. Then we did mail questionnaire method. அப்படின்னா email இப்போ முதல்லாம் போஸ்ட்ல உங்க இந்த questions mail பண்ணி the respondent will answer written. Okay, இப்போ online modeலயும் நடக்குது. Google form is the best example. Finally we did questionnaire filled by enumerator. Enumerator is a person appointed by investigator. They are trained and they have knowledge about statistical tools. And basically they are people who know regional languages so that directly அவங்க communicate பண்ணலாம் with the people, with the respondent. So questionnaire, mail questionnaire என்ன disadvantagesலாம் இருந்துச்சு அதை enumerator fulfill பண்ணுவாங்க. But you have to ensure that the enumerator is trained and well educated. Okay, அப்புறம் அவருக்கு எல்லாம் தெரியுது how to collect the best questions, how to get the best response from the respondent. Then only this method will be successful. Okay, so 4 methods we covered and last class அதுக்கு முன்ன கிளாஸ்ல 2 மெத்தட் கவர் பண்ணோம். So we have completed methods of collecting data, primary data. Okay, So next class la nama where there is more parts to the sources of data, we will be covering the remaining parts. Whoever is present in the chats right now, okay, we have certain questions on the 4 methods that we did today. Okay, which of the following methods of data collection is most suitable when a continuous, regular and timely flow of information is required from different parts of the country? So example like crop estimates தேவை, இல்லாட்டி market prices of products. இதுல எந்த method of primary data is most suitable? Okay, உனக்கு regularly information தேவைப்படும் சில. Mail questionnaire method, information from correspondence, personal interview method or telephonic interview method? Whoever is present, kindly give the answer. Bhuvaneshwari, Bharati, Niyashini, Shri Vidya, Vishwant, Yaksha. Anybody? Vinaya? Anybody knows what would be the answer? Oh, Niyashini says B. Yes, absolutely correct. Na chonnad madri correspondence you will appoint across the country and they give regular information. Okay, உனக்கு எப்போலாம் information தேவைப்படுமோ அவங்க information கொடுப்பாங்க on topics which actually keeps fluctuating. அதனால தான் உனக்கு regular information தேவைப்படும். Very good, Niyashini. It's B. Next question. The mail questionnaire method has highly limited scope. Okay, limited scope na kammi scope irukkudu. Why? எதனால அது கம்மி ஸ்கோப்பா இருக்கு? It is the most expensive method. It can only be used when the target respondents are literate. It requires face-to-face contact. It takes the longest time to collect. எதா நினைக்கிறியா? இதுல எது questionnaire method கொள்ள limited scope, or you can say demerit. Mail questionnaire method கொள்ள எது demerit இருக்கும் இதுல? Which one do you think will be a demerit of questionnaire method? Niyashini, any idea? Anybody else? It's a game of elimination. Chariya, most expensive to illa questionnaire because you are just mailing them, you're not directly going. Longest time, yes, it takes longest time. It requires face-to-face contact. Is questionnaire la to face-to-face contact illa. These two are there, but the highly limited scope. Idu rendula edu is the highest limited scope nanikriya? 1 minute thinking. Okay, I gave you like a hint. இது ரெண்டும் இல்ல because obviously it's not most expensive and face to face contact the questionnaire பண்ணல mail questionnaire Hari Sharan hi இது ரெண்டுல these two come as limitation of questionnaire but idla highly limited scope which is the highest limitation of mail questionnaire mail la ninga questionnaire anupamchila which is the highest limitation do you think use questionnaire ninga mail la anupamchila what is the thing that you expect first from the respondent அவங்களுக்கு questions புரியணும் அவங்களுக்கு questions புரியறதுக்காக அவங்க literate இருக்கணும்ல literate means they need to know yes Niyashini has given the answer they need to know how to read and write that is the main limitation of mail questionnaire method நீ first thing you need to know that அவங்களுக்கு எழுத படிக்க தெரியுமா if that only is not there then it's like you can't do it that method only this thing is there but it's there for other some methods also and it's not the first limitation that comes into picture adnala highly limited scope need kuduthirukanga so then the next one which of the following is key precaution appadina what are the steps that you will take as a precaution to be taken when using information from correspondence remember precautions came for correspondent as well as enumerator because you are appointing them இவங்க ரெண்டு பேர் கேஸ்லயும் சில steps enumerator will take before appointing them so what is for correspondent A respondent must be given cash incentives B correspondents must be highly biased சொல்லிட்டாங்க okay towards investigator C collected data must be cross-checked for personal bias of the correspondents or D the questionnaire must be very long and detailed எதை நினைக்கிறிய Niyashini it's correct B is the correct option yes in the last question in the question க்கு சொல்லுங்க இதுல எது நினைக்கிறிய எந்த step should the investigator take before appointing the correspondent or what he has to do even after the correspondent has collected the information very good Hari Sharan and Niyashini yes it is C நீ கரஸ்பாண்டன்ட் அப்பாயிண்ட் பண்ணிட்ட குட் பட் அவருக்குள்ள டேட்டா கலெக்ட் பண்ணி கொடுக்கமுச்சுல நீ ஆஸ் அன் இன்வெஸ்டிகேட்டர் ஹேவ் டு கிராஸ் செக் அண்ட் செக் தட் he is not using his judgment or opinions it's free from personal judgment and bias that is your job as an investigator உனக்கு correspondent help பண்றாரு data collect பண்ணமுச்சுல but you can't blindly trust that data you have to cross check to avoid personal bias of the correspondent very good okay next we move to the next question state which of the following is the major demerit of telephonic interview method telephonic kolla demerit it's extremely time consuming it has very low response rate compared to mail questionnaire it prevents the use of visual aids or physical observation of the respondents it cannot cover a wide geographical area again major demerit just like the last one again I'm saying there are two demerits but here you have to check which is the major demerit of telephonic interview again see MCQ is the game of elimination okay எது சரியா வரும் இதுல C very good Hari Sharan see இதுல இது கூட demerit தான் and a major demerit of telephonic interview is that you can't see the person right response rate is low as compared to mail that is correct but still நீ பார்க்க முடியாது அந்த ஆட்களை that is the major demerit even though both are the demerits this one is the correct answer okay I hope this is clear. Even Niyashini has said. Very good. Fifth one, identify the method of primary data collection being used in the following scenario. Scenario A la ennadu use பண்றாங்க and scenario B. A news channel wants to get instant public opinion on newly announced government policy. Instant public opinion. Okay, இது நான் சொன்னேன். To get opinion, எந்த method use பண்ணுவாங்க? Especially news channel uses that. B, the Ministry of Agriculture wants weekly reports on wholesale grain prices, okay, from 500 different mandis அப்படினா markets across the country. அவங்களுக்கு weekly report வேணும். இதுல என்னது யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? ரெண்டு method of primary data collection. Yes, Niyashini, very good. இது ரெண்டுக்கும் சொல்லுங்க எந்த மெத்தட் யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம்? அகைன் ஐ எம் கோயிங் த்ரூ 4 மெத்தட் படிச்சோம். இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் ஃப்ரம் கரஸ்பாண்டன்ட், அதுக்கப்புறம் டெலிஃபோனிக் இன்டர்வியூ படிச்சோம், மெயில் குவெஸ்டினர், அப்புறம் குவெஸ்டினர் ஃபில் பை என்யூமரேட்டர். இந்த 4ல எது வரலாம்? ஃபர்ஸ்ட்டுக்கு முதல் சொல்லுங்க, அப்புறம் செகண்ட்க்கும் சொல்லுங்க. ஓகே, Niyashini has said A, information through local agencies. Yes. Niyashini, think a little. உனக்குள்ள ஆன்சர் 1A அது கரெக்டா வராது. Anybody else? Illati, think a little. What you said will come for, not for A. Actually, information collected through correspondence will come for B. எதுக்கு எனக்கு வீக்லி ரிப்போர்ட் வேணும்? See, information from correspondence is collected when you need continuous information. So எனக்கு வீக்லி ரிப்போர்ட் வேணும். அப்புறம் 500 டிஃப்ரெண்ட் லொக்காலிட்டிஸ்ல இருந்து வேணும் இன்வெஸ்டிகேட்டர் பண்ண முடியாது. அப்போ நான் கரஸ்பாண்டன்ட் அப்பாயிண்ட் பண்ணுவேன். கரஸ்பாண்டன்ட் இஸ் அப்பாயிண்டட் when there is, you know, information that needs to be collected on regular basis. That's why this is information on correspondence. Okay, but for A, which one is the correct one? A ki neenga innum sollala. Instant opinion, instant poll, instant opinion vano. A news channel wants instant. Niyashini, very good. This is telephonic interview. நம்ம அதை படிக்கம்ச்சிலே பார்த்தோம். நியூஸ் சேனல் and all will use when they want to conduct polls or reviews. எனக்கு instantly வேணும். Instantly, how will I go and collect from correspondence? Now, I will place telephonic calls, okay, to get instant opinion of people. So, the best suited is, usually TV channels used to collect opinions, polls conduct பண்றது, இவ்வளோ % of people think this way, this much %. So, instantly information தேவதுக்கு telephonic interview. Okay, very good, Niyashini. This is from correspondent, not from enumerator. Why not enumerator? Because weekly report enumerator will not spend time. He will go, he is just like an investigator. அவருக்கு வேலை கொடுத்ததை கண்டக்ட் பண்ணிட்டு வந்துருவாரு. Correspondents are like local agency or local people who will be in that area and will give you information. Enumerator will not give you continuous information. That's why adu rendo differences between enumerator and correspondent is, enumerator are educated, trained people who are involved in statistics. They will not sit in a place and give you, avungalkulla வேலை is not only collecting data. Okay, correspondents are people who you appoint. They might be common people who are doing other jobs, but உனக்கு information கொடுக்கிறதுக்காக நீ அவங்கள appoint பண்ற for that, giving, you know, every information. Yes. It's okay. Niyashini, you answered well. Okay, so that's it for today. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம என்னதெல்லாம் பார்த்தோம்? 4 methods பார்த்தோம் and we saw the merits, demerits. என்ன பண்ணணும் தெரியுமா? நீங்க இன்னைக்கு பேய் உட்கார்ந்து you have to do a revision. Then you will quickly register that. போறதுக்கு முன்னாடி I want to show one thing also. Whoever has not yet, whoever has not yet joined this crash course for 11th and 12th, okay, especially for people who are not in prime batches, you can get access to all the resources free of cost, okay. The money is just zero. What all you get? See, in-class doubt solving, in-class quizzes, discussion and practice question. After the class, you have assignments, note, digital study, PDF, 24/7 doubt solving, post-class doubt solving, handwritten notes after the class. So do register yourself. In the video ku keele or link irka, adla click panni, click on this and get yourselves registered to get access to all these information. And then here WhatsApp channel irukkudu, okay. So in the WhatsApp channel is for your YouTube announcements. In the class nadakudhu edavadhu updates irundha, you will get information on the WhatsApp channel, okay. So that's it for today, okay. Bye, take care and have a